Welcome to Attaché's Inventory Management webinar for today. Today's webinar is on inventory management, and after this webinar you should be familiar with the practical application of the software and be able to set up a new product and service item and modify the details, apply global changes to products and services, inquire on products and services, process transactions, produce reports, process a stock take, and set up or modify supplier and customer pricing records and inquire on transaction details. We're going to start with inventory setup. That includes the product options, purchasing options, invoicing options, and master files for products and services. Just going to go over to Attaché. So if we go to setups and to products, there we find the product options. So product options allows you to adapt your products module to suit your individual needs. If you have multi-location, you can select to maintain stock details for more than one location. So you need to check the multi-location checkbox. Now, there is no limit to the number of locations you can have. Your location does form part of your product code. Probably a good idea to decide whether you require locations before you enter your products. Although you can change them, you can change the location. You can change any of these options at any time. However, you do want to take into consideration the consequence of the change because it may affect your reporting. You also may need to adjust related product details. You can refer to the Help Center, or just while we're starting here, if on any of the screens, you can click F1 and it takes you straight to the Help Center for that screen. Okay, so I just clicked F1 and it brought me to the product options screen in our Help Center. So any screen that you may need help on, just F1 and it will take you to our Help Center. Now going through the options here for product options using alternative bin locations and general ledger postings, that needs to be ticked so that the postings can be posted to our general ledger if you're using Attaché General Ledger. Purchase conversions, that's where you have, and we'll have a look in the product master file, where you may buy a product in a box and there's 100 units in that box, so you can have a purchase conversion of 100. You can also enable following options, so setting confirm master file additions to yes. So if I select confirm master file additions, that if I'm putting in a new product, Attaché will ask me to confirm that I do actually want to add a new product. The message requires the user just to choose OK. Set edit notes in inquiry to yes if you want to be able to directly edit the notes in inquiry mode rather than having to go to modify mode to enter notes in inquiry. View notes in inquiry. These have a password level, so you might have a sensitive product or something, you might want to put a password level in so not everyone can view the notes or edit notes. And enabling output F11 in the master file, you can also put a password on that. If you want to, you can prompt to override out of stock warnings. So that's when you're out of stock, Attaché will give you a prompt to say you've got to, you may be out of stock. Now these options on the other side here, the product code length, the maximum's 22, and you can adjust these to just adjust to suit yourself, whether you want decimals in your quantity or in your cost, and decimals in your price, how many decimals, and number of selling prices. So there is 6 selling price points. You don't have to use all of them if you don't want to. If you put that down to 4, then 2 will be grayed out. Also, reorder costing options for reordering. So you can have costing options on average. So the costing options are average, fixed, or last cost. And the reordering options are the reorder level or quantity, or minimum quantity and maximum quantity. Go to other options here. These are the headings for the pricing. So wholesale, wholesale 2, retail, promotion, special and trade, and you'll see where I can change those in the actual master files or in the pricing, change pricing. Also the headings for the discounts, so these are customizable fields. You can put in your own headings there. Bill and kit options. So you can customize the batch number if it's not lining up with something in your section. You can change the batch number if you want to. Also, whether you default auto manufacture sub bills. So Attaché has the flexibility for bills and sub bills. If you make a bill, manufacture a bill, you can auto manufacture the sub bills, or you may not want to. So you've got the options of never or always. And print picking slip at the time of entry you can have there. Landed costing options, So landed costing options, you've got the option of having it on a value or on quantity or on dimensions of the packages. Okay, the next tab is dimensions. You can choose if you want height, length, width, or volume or weight, or any other dimensions that you want. And there's some custom fields here that you can specify for your own needs. Okay, so that's the product options. Okay, so we're going to set up to the suppliers to purchase options. So purchasing options, all to do with your document numbers for requisitions, purchase orders, goods received notes. Your supplier invoice is only manual entry, but they're purchase goods return notes. So you can change all of those document numbers if you wish. You can print at the time of entry all of the different transaction documents, and your default buying price, say default buying price is on your last buying price or on your So your default buying price is on your last buying price, or it can be on zero. If your default buying price is your last buying price, then that automatically comes up into the transaction as your last buying price. Or if it's zero, if you choose zero there, then it will just be blank and you put the price in yourself. The GL clearing account code, so you enter that, the code that you want to update with the purchasing and your supply invoicing details. So the clearing account is used to hold your current document details, and once the document's accepted, then it's again set to zero. Again, we've got password levels here for, requisition approval. If you want to put a higher password level, you may need to be, a manager or something to approve the requisition. For completing and modifying purchase orders and product price updates as well. Again, we've got a prompt for inactive. So if you choose an inactive product, you will get a prompt. If you've chosen this, then a supervisor has to clear it, and then enabling F11. So the other options here are to do with the printing. So they're all the number of lines that are on the documents and also source documents. So you can use supplier linked information or a default document folder. Okay, so I've opted to use supplier linked information. So when we go into a supplier master file, we will see where we can put that linked information. We do have these workflows, and we will be going through these workflows later on in the webinar. Products, master files, acquire or maintain brings up the master file for the products. So I'm just going to pick this basket. So you've got the product code. Now, if you've got products that are in certain locations, you can pick the location first, then the code, and the description. So that description can be changed at any time. It's something that you want to just choose a description that's meaningful to you. So in the details screen here, you've got comments and master barcode. So there's a master barcode because you can have multiple barcodes, and we'll show you later on where we can find the additional barcodes. Website or linked information. So you might have a website in here to this particular product, or you can have linked information, which is simply a folder on your system where you can have, maybe a photo or documents relating to the product. You can have product groups. So if you have, I haven't actually set any up, but you can have product groups, and there's unlimited groups that you can set up. Now, suppliers here are the suppliers of this product. So you want to put the main supplier first, because that's the one that comes up onto documents. And then if that supplier hasn't got any of the product, then you can go to the next supplier. A general ledger set. Attaché has the ability to have multiple general ledger sets, and this is where you put the general ledger set related that you want this product to use. And also cost centers. Now there's a superseded by field here, so if this product does become superseded by another product, you put the new product in superseded by. So when you're looking at this, you can see what is the product that superseded it. Now, if the product is inactive, it won't show up on any reports unless you specifically display the inactive products. Default tax code, usually it's 10% for Australia, or you may want the GST-free codes. Now, purchase unit and in-stock unit and purchase conversion. This is, I mentioned this before, you can purchase, you might want to purchase a box, and the in-stock is a unit, but there's a purchase conversion, and you put how many units are in each purchase unit, which becomes your purchase conversion. Bin location is where the product is located in your warehouse. The unit cost comes from the last buying price. You've got a reorder level and reorder quantity. So this actual product that I've picked is something that we manufacture. So I don't have any reorder levels. I do have that it's a bill. We're going to go into bills of materials a bit later. If it was a raw material for another bill, I would check the raw material box as well. Now, if I'm in inquiry mode, see, if I toggle over to inquiry mode, which is just using the toggle button or Control E, there is a bit more information in inquiry mode. So if I press F2, I get the quantities. So our opening stock, our quantity in stock, and quantity ordered, back ordered, and reserved stock. Also the quantity reserved for the bill of materials and anything that's on consignment. Also the quantities available and the costing. If I go to F3, that brings me to the sales. Now I can also, in all of these, the quantities in the sales, I can again press F3 and get locations. So if I had locations, then the different quantities and sales would be displayed by location. Now F4 is notes. So these notes are different to memo. They're only just one line, but you do have memos here as well, which is the do extensive notes about the product. Okay, F5, that brings up all of the transactions for this product. And while I'm in this screen, you can drill down to the transactions, see the red triangle. Double click on that, then it goes down to that transaction, to a transaction level. F6 that brings up the movement for this period, for this particular product. F7 brings up prices, so product prices or customer prices. This is where we had, in the setups, we set up the heading for the selling prices. And so there's the wholesale, wholesale 2, retail, promotion, special and trade. There's also a special price category, which we'll get into in special pricing. F8 displays transactions. So if I want to look at back orders or customer orders or anything to do with this product, I'll look at the supplier invoices, which we have none. Yeah, that's F8 to show all of the so we'll just go into inventory management. Managing products, it's more than just simply keeping a list of products and services. So by maintaining accurate records on your products, the stock levels, reorder quantities, or fast-moving stock and so on, you can greatly improve the efficiency of your business through effective buying and improved inventory control. So Taché varies from other programs with extensive flexibility for our system. Now, some of the main features: costing based on average, fixed and last cost, which we have already had a quick look at. There's 3 different discount rates and 6 selling prices. In addition to the product groups, the locations and cost centres can be added, so providing reporting for multiple warehousing environments. We've got a global price update, so that is where you can increase or decrease any or all of your prices based on current cost, last cost or any selling price. We've got purchase conversions, which we've already looked at. Our product special maintenance, where you can copy, modify or delete a range of products, where we'll look at product special maintenance. And customizable screen and form layouts. So we don't have enough time to get into screen designer and form designer, but you can specify your own screens and forms with the Taché screen designer and form designer. We've got backups from orders or invoices, and the customer special pricing, which we will look at. It can be based on quantities purchased, one-off prices or special discounts. And a special pricing record can be set up to cover a limited time period or until the details are changed or deleted. So we're going to look at inventory maintenance, as I was saying, the special product special maintenance, barcodes, alternatives, price updates, and changing location. So special maintenance in products, again in master files, products and special maintenance here. Now this, before we get into special maintenance, I must stress that you need to do a backup before you start playing around with special maintenance, because it's very powerful and you need to have a backup just in case you make a mistake. Okay, so you can copy your products or modify products in bulk. If I want to copy all of my products so that I can create new products for a new location, I can do so. that's what I'll do, is I'll copy the products and put it into a location. So the copy from location I'll keep blank because most of my products don't have a location. And I've got the options if I want to copy alternative details, superseded details, or alternate bin locations, which I don't have set up. I'll copy a group, group range, a product range. I'll copy. The first product I'll copy is the olives, and then I'll go down and copy up to the fig jam. Now I can copy supplier ranges, which I'm not going to do that. I will modify the location and description. I'll modify the location to the Melbourne warehouse, so then you'll clearly be able to see which products I've copied. I'll leave everything else the same. So the question marks mean that it's staying the same. I'll leave the pricing and I'll leave everything else the same. All I'm doing is I'm copying these products and I'm modifying the code as I copy them. Now I'll just accept that. Now you'll see that 9 products were added. So now if I go to master files, I'll just inquire on my Melbourne location and you'll see here those products were all copied over to Melbourne. So now I can go and do a stock take on the Melbourne office, on the Melbourne warehouse. Okay, so this special maintenance, you can also modify any products in any location range, group range, product range, also your supplier ranges. And again, as I said, these question marks, if the question mark is left there, it will be left the same. So if I decide instead of the Melbourne being MEL, I might want it to be MEB or something. I can just put M, I could put question mark, B, and it would change it to MELB or MELB. Now the barcodes, supplementary barcodes, we saw in the master file that there was the master barcode. So if I go again to my corporate basket, you can see here I've added some other barcodes that were used specifically for particular events. And this one at the top is the master barcode. Now, alternatives. There's 2 places you can find alternatives. So products master files, products alternatives, or you can also in products reports, there's alternative product details. You can set up alternative products and services. For example, that if a customer wants to order a product that's out of stock, you can easily view the alternatives. There is a maximum of 158 alternatives. Now, I questioned that recently why it's 158, and it is an old software limitation, but if anybody has more than 158 alternatives, we can remove that limitation. There is a enhancement request to remove a limitation. So each alternative can have in turn, they can have other alternatives associated with it, forming a network of related products and services. And we did have a look at invoicing options where you allow alternatives. I haven't set up any alternatives, so the report, I'll just check the report. So alternative product details, this will tell me any alternative products, and yeah, I haven't set it up. That's where you go for the report. Now, product price updates. In products, master files product price update. This is where you can bulk update the price of any of your products. So if I want to, and it's in ranges as well. So the six product ranges that we have, the wholesale, retail, wholesale to promotion, page down, there's the special and the trade. Okay, so if I decide I want to update all of the wholesale products by the wholesale prices, I want to increase them by $2 on the current cost. Or enter range selection. If I want to do a location range, a group range, product code range, a supplier range, or if I want to just do the different tax code details, but I'll just leave it at that. I'll accept it. Locations. So all of this Sydney. If you're selecting locations, it's top down. You can see where you can change all of the different ranges. And also if you have exclusive products, GST exclusive or GST inclusive products, if you want to change them as well. I didn't have that selected, so that's probably why it didn't work for me, but that's a product price updates. Now, if you want to change the location, you can change the location of the products. It's a bit different. You go to the tools and company here to change product location. So I've just got a message saying strongly recommend you backup data. So I've got a recent backup, so I will just click through. Now, do I want to change location for all of my products? Or I can just change. What if I change all the Melbourne ones to Brisbane? If I accept that, then that will change all locations for these products. So it is changed location for all products. No, not all products, just the Melbourne to Brisbane. Show change locations. Okay, so if I accept that, it should come up with okay. Old location. Okay, so if I look at that now, in my product master file, I should have all Brisbane. So let's change it all from Melbourne to Brisbane. So now that brings us to bills of materials. About 60% of the people on the webinar are using bills of materials. Bills of materials, there is a workflow for bills of materials. So if I go products, workflows to manufacture bill. So this is the workflow for creating or for manufacturing a bill. So first, creating a bill. Now I did show you before that I had the corporate basket is a bill. Now the difference between a bill and one that's not a bill, I've got the bill details. And the bill details is the recipe for the bill. So this tells us if we want to manufacture the manufacture quantity of how many we're going to manufacture each time. Right now that'll manufacture 2. I can now auto manufacture sub bills. I don't actually have any sub bills here, but if I did, I could either never auto manufacture them or I could make it always. When we do manufacture this corporate basket, it takes one of each unit into the bill. If it's fixed, it's a fixed price here, you click yes, and that will only do 1 per batch of bills. Otherwise, if it's not fixed, it'll do 1 per item, 1 per bill. Then you've got the bill instructions. You can put extensive instructions here for the bill and materials if you like. So that's creating the bill, like creating an item that's a bill of materials. Back to manufacturing a bill, we've created the bill. Then we go on to create a production batch. Okay, so the batch number will come up here, a description of the batch. if we have reserved the stock for the batch or if it's been manufactured. It's got the dates here, what it is that we're manufacturing. So we're going to manufacture corporate baskets. Now we saw there that we've got a quantity of negative. So we're going to 150 of them so that we can put it in. Now, if I've got other things to manufacture, I can put it all on the same batch as well if I want. I just accept that, close that. That's creating the production batch, then printing the picking slips. We could have the picking slips print as soon as we create the batch, or we can choose to print the picking slips from here. And you may want to print the picking slips directly to the warehouse as well. Okay, so I'll just go through what's on here, the bill location range. If I've got separate locations that I've got on the bill, I can pick which location range to print, or also a code range. We've got production batch range, so that production batch that I did was 2, but I could print out a range of batches. And you've also got the option of bin range, so that it orders the picking slip into the bin locations. I've got the option of consolidating bills, so we can select that where multiple bills in a production batch contain the same or similar components, and you might want a report showing the total number of each component to be picked rather than being broken down by bill. If you select print quantity on hand, then the picking slip will include the quantity on hand for each component on the picking slip report. If print manufactured batches is selected here, then a picking list will be printed for all manufactured batches that match the ranges. If I leave it blank, then it's going to just do everything that I need for the batch that I've selected, which is all the batches. And this is the picking slip here. So I can print that to the warehouse and get them to pick what I want them to pick. And then the last step is actually doing the manufacture. So it's batch number 2, which is what we want. And I've got the options of deleting the batch if I want to, and I'll just accept it and close it. We do have some videos on bills of materials. I'm about to update them to be in the new Attaché 18 or later modern menu, but if you wanted to look at them now, they're on our YouTube channel, and the actual screens are exactly the same. Okay, we're doing supplier transactions. So supplier transactions, we're going to go through a requisition, purchase orders, good received notes, supplier invoice, and credit adjustment notes. Okay, so when we go to suppliers, there is workflows for all of these transactions. So starting with requisitions, going through to purchase orders. So a purchase order can be made from a requisition or from a standing order. Goods received notes, supplier invoices. So you can make a supplier invoice from a purchase order or from a goods received note. Then there's good return note and credit adjustment notes as well. So Attaché provides this clear workflow detailing the process of ordering, receiving goods and invoicing. Okay, so requisitions. So we need to be aware with requisitions that you can have multiple documents at any stage throughout the process. So one requisition for a number of goods may generate purchase orders for several suppliers. And if the goods for one supplier arrive at different times, several goods received notes will be entered for one order. And these could consolidate into one invoice. You can start at any stage of the cycle. So you don't have to, for example, you don't have to use the goods received note if you get your invoice at the same time. You don't have to use requisition orders. Okay, but requisition orders, they can be generated automatically from the product reorder report. They also need to be approved. So you can set the approved level to a supervisor or to any password level. You've got the requisition number, which defaults to the next number. Put in a requisition for 50 olives. Now I'll accept that. That's not going to become an order until it's approved. Now I can finish that. So creating purchase orders from requisitions, if I go into there, I can create a purchase order from the requisition. Purchase order date is today, the requisition will be the same, so it should just come up. Okay, let's have a look at the requisition number. The last one will be 5. If I go into options, just shows me these option ranges. Actually, this is not going to work because it's not been approved. Okay, so if I go back into the requisition and approve it, it has to be approved by, I've got the level to approve it, so I'm going to approve it, I'll accept it, close it, then I can create the requisition. Now if I accept that, then that's become now a purchase order. The other than creating purchase orders from requisition orders, you can just put in a purchase order. Now with transactions in Attaché, The top part here is the header, and we can zoom in on the header and get more information about our supplier or about this particular order. I can zoom out and then go to the body, and I'll make an order for some 2,000 of them, and we can accept that, and that becomes a purchase order. Now, landed cost, I can put in landed cost. For landed cost, you have to actually put it in, and I think I've already done it in the invoice. You have to put in in the attaché form designer, you need to put in a row for the landed cost, and landed cost, then you can put it in and it will distribute against each of the products. So once you've got your purchase orders and you're waiting for your goods, you can create a supplier invoice from a purchase order or a goods received note. So goods received note, go into the body here and it'll say that there's purchase orders for this supplier and do we want to read them in. So it might be the same orders. I may have got two different orders from the same supplier, so I can read in both those orders if I want to. So once I accept that, it's asking me, I'm reading in two purchase orders. Yes, it's correct, and there's the two purchase orders that I've created. And we're saying that we've received them. Okay, so I'll accept that, finish, accept that. Okay, so that's making the goods received notes from the purchase orders. The suppliers, again, we can also read in the supplier. We can read in the supplier purchase orders or the goods received notes. So I go to the body here and the invoice number. Okay, so it's asking me if I want to read in that goods received note. I'll just say yes. I'll read it in. Yes. And it's asking me, do I want to read in purchase orders that we've got for this supplier as well? So let's just say this purchase order is on the invoice as well. Accept that. Yes, and so it's reading the two goods received notes and that one purchase order that we already had in there. So I'll finish that. Set. Okay, I didn't put in the comparative total, but if you do have lots and lots of lines in your invoice, then you can put in the comparative total, and Attaché just makes sure that the line totals equal the comparative total that you've put in. Okay, we'll close. Okay, so we've done requisitions, purchase orders, goods received notes, and supplier invoice entry. We're going to move on to product stock take. If we go to products, to the first workflow is the product stock take, and this is the workflow that you use for product stock takes. So the first thing you want to do is create work data. So stock take allows you to enter stock take details without interfering with the existing product details. You may find it easier to do several small stock takes rather than one or two large ones, and you can do 99 stock take work files at any one time for any group, product or bin ranges or stock location. Okay, so we can have up to 99 in any of these ranges. So this enables you to maintain your stock procedures separately for each location, with up to 99 for each location. Okay, so we'll just do, it's Brisbane that I've got it on there. I won't change any ranges. I can have the ability to include inactive or include superseded and standard, or any combination of the three. So I'll just accept that. It's come up with products selected as 9, which is correct because they're all the products that I have in the Brisbane location. Okay, I'll close that. Now I can print the worksheets. So the worksheet allows you to print the stock take worksheets for each stock take. So these sheets may be printed in the product code, bin location, or group. You can also show the book quantity that is the current quantity in stock at the time the stock take was created. And only the products selected in Create Work Data for this stock take number will print. Okay, so I will print, and they're all the ones in the Brisbane location that I have. So I can print that out and physically write down the numbers of the stock in the location. So then after you print the worksheets and you do your stock take, then you can enter your physical quantities. So you can enter physical quantities straight from your worksheet. You can't print worksheets until you've actually created the work data for your stock take. And then enter physical quantities. Okay, so the first quantity field appears as if you selected the purchase conversion in the product options. And set physical quantities. No. Okay, so this is the first product that's come up, and I haven't got any quantity, book quantity or purchase quantity. So I'm just going to put a number for each against each one so that we can see the variances. Also, I've done too many, but anyway, that's how easy it is to do, is to put in the stock. So if I accept that, then I can print a variance report. So this is going to tell me the book quantity, the count quantity, and the variance, which is the same as the count quantity because I had none in the first place. And for these products, I haven't got any costs, so it's not going to bring up any cost. But had I had a cost in the master file, it would bring up the cost and the cost variance as well. Close that. Now, once we've printed the variance report, then we can update the products. Updating the products here, and So updating the products is completed and we'll close. Now, before we update the products, you do want to do a backup. So that if anything happens, then you can go back to before if it's not right. We're going to, okay, so pricing. Okay, so pricing, we've got global price update, supplier pricing, and customer pricing. So global price update, I'll just go back to Tasha. So I can use the global price update to make product updates of prices in bulk. So for example, at the end of the financial year, if you want to increase the prices by 5%, and we had a look at the price update earlier. Then we do have supplier pricing. So there's two methods of supplier pricing. There's in purchasing options, when the default buying price is set to last cost. This figure will display when the product is entered on a supplier document, and this can be changed if necessary. Now, provided the price field is set to edit in the screen designer for the document type. I might just bring this up. Okay, the second method is the supplier pricing submodule. Allows the setup of special pricing arrangements that you've made with your suppliers for each product. This price will then be used when transactions are entered for the supplier. It can be changed at any time if the price field is set to edit. Okay, so if we go to suppliers to master files and pricing, pricing maintained here. Okay, so, okay, let's change the price of the product. If your supplier has a special, so maybe they've got a special for the end of year, okay, and that's starting the 1st of May and going to end of June, or the end of financial year. Now the quantity, you can, okay, go to, put a supplier product code if you want to. Now say we've got it in price breaks, and so 50, we'll have a maximum quantity of 50, and the price code we've got a discount code of, say, so we've got a special discount code, and the discount code's going to be, so if we get, we'll do it up to 100, we'll do do 10% for up to 100, and say for 150 we'll do and then anything else do a 20% discount. Okay, so that's telling me that if I buy from Dainty Imports this Soya lime scented candle, then between the 1st of May and the 30th of June, I'm going to get these discounts for depending on what quantity I order. Okay, so I can accept that, and then I can test that. I can test that with the soy candle, and I can say, okay, I want to order, and I have to remember that I put a date on that special pricing, so I'm going to order it on the 15th of May. If I order 5, I'm getting a 5% discount. Now if I order over 50, so 55, I'm getting 10%. If I'm ordering 200, I'm getting the 20% discount. So that's how you can test it. Okay, so there's no limit to how many special pricing, but you can only have one set of special pricing for each product for each supplier, any one time. That's a supplier special pricing. Now, supplier pricing purchase options. So if I go to sorry, if we go to products, to master file supplier pricing and maintain, then that brings me to the same one. Options for supplier options to do with pricing here. Okay, so just move on to supplier pricing reports. So if I go to suppliers reports pricing, price list, then this gives me the price list for all the suppliers. So for that particular supplier that we did a special pricing for, I'll just do all of them. So here we go. Here's the special pricing that I did for that scented candle for Dainty Imports. It gives me the dates, the maximum quantities, and price codes, and the discount that I get on those price codes. Now, if I want to delete supplier pricing, I can select ranges of suppliers and products to delete, or select to delete all records. So I have the option to confirm each deletion, and account is kept of the deletions and displayed prior to returning to the menu. So I can go supplier pricing, delete. That's where I would delete those pricing in these codes. I'm not going to delete it because I've only just set it up. There's an order, a pricing order of priorities. So I'll just bring this back up on the screen as well. So it's possible that more than one pricing record could apply to any one supplier and product at any one time. So therefore, when the supplier records are accessed, an order of priorities is followed. So we have to note as well that priority is given to a record with a current date range. So if it's a different date range, then the priority will be for today's date range or the current date range. Okay, so these are the order of priorities: the supplier code, location, then the product code, supplier code, location, and then all products. Now, all suppliers, the location and product code, and all suppliers, product location, and all products. This is also true for customer special pricing as well. Okay, now we're just going to go through customer transactions. So orders, picking slips, invoices, and back orders. So customer orders, I'm going to go to customers. Now the orders and invoicing for customers is in the workflow as well. You can get customer orders from quotes. It works a lot the same as getting supplier invoices from requisitions. We will put in a customer order here. The Flowers of Us Sydney shop has they'll order the 5 corporate baskets that we've got in stock and simply just accept that. Now, if there was a quote, I could have read the quote in as well. This is order number 16. We want to generate the picking slips for those orders. We go to customers reports, to documents and picking slips. Okay, so you do need to set up the picking slips, which doesn't seem to have been done in this sample data. But this is where you pick the picking slip, which is much the same as the picking slips that we've done. So this is where you can get the customer picking slips, or product reports document picking slips is exactly the same as well. And automatic, if I tick automatic mode, then as soon as the order's in, it will print the picking slip. Okay, so you print the picking slip. Print allows you to print or reprint picking slips for outstanding customer orders and stock transfers, showing the quantity to pick and the relevant fields. You can print a consolidated picking slip, selecting it to yes to the consolidated picking slip checkbox, and each picking slip will be sorted according to the selections made in the slip sequence and line item sequence. Then we have invoices from orders. So Attaché has the ability to produce invoices from customer orders. So you select the ranges, print the documents that you require, generate invoices automatically. You just select the auto in the auto review field. To display a list of proposed invoices and then select the ones you wish to process, choose review in the auto review field. And you can page down to the customer selection list and a second time to the source document selection list where you can select to generate invoices for up to 20 non-consecutive customer codes or source documents. So once you've made those selections, you're happy with it, you accept it. And if you choose auto in auto review field, all the source documents which meet the selected criteria are converted to invoices, and all the documents are then marked as complete. Now, if you choose review in the auto review checkbox here, then a list of proposed invoices is displayed based on your outstanding source documents, which meet the selection criteria, and you can then follow the steps to select all your proposed invoices for automatic generation. Now, backorder report, customers' transactions, backorders on backorder report. The on backorder report will show all of within the selections, everything that's on backorder. Okay, so you can see here we've got these things on backorder. Now, if we want to release the backorders, we go to customers, transactions, and backorder, release backorders. So here we will release the backorders. So it allows you to selectively release backorders for invoicing. Backorders will only be released for those products where there's enough stock available to fill all or part of the backorder. And backorders can also be released for non-stock and service lines. You can select to release backorders manually or automatically. So if automatic release is selected, all backorders within the selected ranges will be released. Now, if I auto release, yes. I won't put any, I'm not going to put any selections, I'll just release all the backorders. And close. So during automatic release, the quantity released will automatically be reversed. Manual release, it allows you to enter the quantity to release and the quantity to reserve. If you select to default the release quantity, then the quantity to release will default to the quantity backordered, but only if there's sufficient quantity. Now, backorder release report, if I want to. So when you do a release, then the report, the release report is prepared. So in transactions release back orders, you must select yes to output the report. Here we go. Report. Now I'm not sure that this is, oh yeah, there we go. These are all the back orders that were released. So we have got customer special pricing in customers master file special pricing maintain. So it's exactly the same as the supplier special pricing. So I'm not going to go right through the customer special pricing, but this is really good for when you've got specials and you want to have different prices for price points. Okay. There is also customer special price ranking, which I will. Here we go. This is the customer special price ranking. If you put into our help center customer special price, then you will get a comprehensive list of the special prices in the rank order. Okay, so I'm just going to go to products, to the product reports. These are the most used reports that you use in products. And outstanding orders, sales register, product status. So I'll go to the product status, and that opens the Clearview. It's just open on my other screen here. So let's open. If I submit, then that'll give me a product status report for all of my products here. So product status report is quantity in stock, quantity, the customer's orders, back orders, reserved, consigned, quantity available, and the values. In addition to these product reports, if you go to dashboards, product dashboard, then that does open the Clearview dashboard for products, which is here. And this has got a product search. The red products, they're the inactive products because you have the choice of active, inactive, and all. Now this gives you a lowdown on the availability, the wholesale, the availability of each product. Then there's items due, product reorder, and negative stock. So negative stock report there. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go through each and every report. And thank you for attending the webinar.